Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
Coach Unplugged is brought to you by great people over at teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. Here is your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, episode 554. Today we're going to do a one-on-one call like we do in teachhoops.com on a regular basis. We do office hours, we do one-on-one calls. We're there to help, we're there to serve. We've all been in the situation you have with maybe not winning the games you want to win, or maybe being frustrated with setting up practice plans or not knowing what to do next. Well, that's why teachhoops.com is there. It's kind of to be your guide to help you through the hard times, not only during the season, but in the off season. So go over and check that out. Go over and check out our Patreon page, which we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. You can hear what I'm thinking about on a regular basis. It's also available over on teachhoops.com. And last but surely not least, go over and check out Dr. Dish, the most recognized, in my opinion, shooting machine in the market. You know, it does a little bit of everything. The technology is second to none. So go over and check out those great people, and let's head off to the podcast.
You know, I'll tell you a little story. The reason I started teachhoops.com, there was a couple reasons. I'm going to be totally honest. First reason was, you know, I'm getting in the twilight of my coaching career. I wanted to give something back, and I'm super excited. You know, I'm on our community every day, kind of communicating with coaches from all over the world. So we have coaches from Africa, we have coaches from Europe, we have coaches from Australia, I believe, a bunch obviously from the United States, and we get to share. So that excites me. I love doing that. And I love all the resources and stuff that we're able to help coaches become better basketball coaches. So that's the number one reason. Number two reason is, you know, this is going to be the thing I'm hopefully going to do when I do get out of coaching. You know, I'm going to be honest, it's to maybe buy an extra gift for my wife or take her out to dinner or do those kind of things. And that's why I run it. So, you know, anybody who knows anything about teachers or coaches, unless you're Coach K, you don't make a lot of money doing this. So, you know, that's one of the reasons. So if you have any thoughts of it, you know, go over and check it out. What do you do preseason? I'm not going to ask you questions.
No, this is good. So in Rhode Island, it's a little bit different. In fact, we're officially done. So we have workouts, and then what we'll do, just me personally, and a lot of the coaches do the same thing. We'll have workouts, and then we have various summer leagues throughout the state. And we're allowed to coach in Rhode Island.
All summer?
Yeah. Well, up until the 16th, we're done. So we get from June 15th to August 16th. They're ours.
So what I've been thinking too is I was thinking of sharing what kind of, because I think everyone kind of knows what to do in the summer. I think the lost part is the area between now and when the season starts.
It's brutal. What we do is I send, by the way, I use Remind a ton.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's so cool. But part of it is the different tiers of communication for groups. So the message to the freshmen versus varsity versus JV versus parents,
right?
They split out. Well, as you know, you know that. I mean, you push that thing, which is awesome. Because
they don't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's the generation, right? And in fact, you know, an example is my son who is downstairs. I literally have to text him when it's time to go somewhere. And then I'm crazy dad and like bang on the floor if he doesn't respond. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I think because I've been talking to some people too. It's like, I think the loss, so they put all this work in the summer.
Yeah.
And I like multiple sport athletes. So I want them doing those things, but it's a work in progress right now. I know what we've done in the past, and we've gotten them in shape before. But it's more like, I think the shots and the dribbling and those kind of things that over the next 3 months, they lose the sharpness that they've had
no question
prior to that. And it's like, I think this is like the black hole of basketball. It's not in the spring and it's not in the summer and it's not during the season. It's this little window right now when football and fall sports are going on.
Right. Well, the challenge for you, like for me, it's easy because there's literally probably 5 AAU programs in the state of Rhode Island,
Okay.
and all of which, as coaches, we vet. So we have relationships, some good, some not so good,
Right.
with some of the programs. So what we tend to do is try to, if the kids aren't doing anything, right? If they're not playing soccer,
Right.
baseball, which apparently is a lot of these are year-round sports, but that's a whole other discussion. We'll try to drive them to programs which we think is the best fit for them. And what I ask for our players, which is not unlike a lot of the guys around here, is we know the coaches. So there's certain things, like I'll ask, like one of my big men, this kid Will, like I know his coach very well. He's actually won some state championships in Rhode Island as a high school coach. Like I need him to do this, this, and this. Those are his goals for this dead time. So the AAU season for spring, it's only 5 tournaments and then you're done. And that's when, like after that, once September hits, we just, we're done.
Right.
We can't talk to them. It changes everything.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, we have a couple of those in our area too that are good. And it's like, I'd still rather have them out. But it's almost, and I think it's almost more for the kids that are out. Like, how do you, because I've got some great conditioning stuff I'm going to put up on Teach Hoops that's really good as far as keeping their legs and keeping them in shape. Because football shape and volleyball shape and basketball shape are so different.
Yeah.
Well, they're so different.
Yeah.
So I've been working with some people at the UW about that. So I'm not worried about the in shape part. I'm more worried about like, how can I get them in the gym? How can they get in the gym and get shooting or ball handling or those kind of things, I think.
Yeah, and that's one thing we challenge. So like for us, and again, not unlike probably most programs in the country, like we give our kids their off-season schedule that we put together.
Right.
And we assume that they're actually doing it. And that's when we may use Remind, not only for a motivational tactic, but to say, okay, have you been working on the programs that have been provided to you? And it's interesting because if you look at my son's volleyball for college, what they do for his off season this summer, he's been giving a program and he has to initial it every day and then send it back to the strength and conditioning coach, which then lands on the head coach's desk every Friday. We're not going to go to that extreme. I don't think we have the effort. It's hard to ask some of these kids to do that, especially in high school, right? But there is some accountability. And for us, and probably, again, not unlike you guys, it's how do you hold them accountable to trying to get this stuff in when you can't be there? You can't direct them in a way that you would typically do.
And you can't direct them by rules, and you can't. I mean, part of that's like, but I think they just need it. I think that's a great idea of giving them something to do, and then whether they do it or not, or whether that's up to them. The accountability part is, maybe to the parents, here's what we're going to give them. Here's what they need to do. Double check on them. I mean, it's like my son. Just got back from the gym, and it's like, I said, do you want to go to the gym? And I don't remember last time I said, do you want to go to the gym? And he said, no.
Right.
It's just, and then once he's there, he's fine. It's just like, all right, and I'll go do some work and you can go to the gym. And,
it is an interesting dynamic. Like for me, because right now I can't coach my players, but I can coach other high schools players, which obviously we have relationships with. So anytime we work out, we're all, there's certain programs that you're friendly with. I have no problem working out players and vice versa. So there's a couple coaches that'll say, all right, send me some of your kids. But unfortunately it's easy for me to reach out to those kids and text them, say, hey, coach so-and-so is having a workout. He's only 20 minutes away. You need to be there, or you should go there. And then on them, it's, well, how dedicated are they? And there really is that, it's that self-motivation thing. And I know we can preach all those things, but the difference, and I will use kids as examples, and I don't know, obviously in a good way, right? You don't, it's coaching 101, you got to be careful with that. But like there's one player that came back from last year to this year that is a different player. And he epitomizes what happens in the off season.
Right.
Work. And he's got his life. He does, he works, but he also finds time to do some of those things we talk about. But getting that to resonate in, 15 to 18-year-olds has been quite a challenge, to be honest.
And my son went to PGC, and it's interesting, I don't remember, one of the directors was talking about, he goes, all you need to do is five days a week. Take the weekend off, be with your buddies 5 days a week for an hour and a half. That's it. That's all it takes. And if those 5.5 those hour and a halves are hard workouts and you're dying and you're improving your game, that's all it takes. Go ahead. No, I'm done.
No, I think the challenge though is, where, like from a personal standpoint, I can't get my kids to do their laundry for 10 minutes.
Right.
So now
Right.
I know they don't want to. Maybe they want to get better in a sport, but then it's that balance, right? Of, okay, I need to burn them out, but understand that the reward for them putting in that time, which really isn't a lot when you're trying to paint a picture. And I always use our seniors as examples, probably, again, not unlike a lot of coaches, where it's the seniors at the end of the year when there are those tears when it's over.
Right.
With no regrets. And that's what we preach. Like, you don't want this to get by, because it really does go by. And did you take that hour and a half, 5 days a week to get better, to get where we want as a program and as a player? And, those are some of the things that helps us a little bit, kind of send the right message.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. I was out in your stomping grounds. My brother lives in New Hampshire. And my son wanted to look at, my niece goes to Middlebury, so he wanted to look at Middlebury.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, I love the East Coast. I looked at Brown too, and it's a great area. I love it.
You went to Dartmouth, right?
I did for graduate school. I went to Lawrence, which is a D3 school in Wisconsin, for undergrad. And then I went to Dartmouth for graduate school. My brother went to Dartmouth for undergrad and loved it. So it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's I don't know, like up here, obviously we're right near Brown.
Yeah.
And it's funny, one of my players is going to play for a small school in Massachusetts, and they're a D3 school, and they're playing Yale this year. At Yale on November 19th. So I text him, like, all right, I'm going to be there.
Right.
I might not see the floor. I'm like, when you're down 40 at half, you might
see the floor. Yeah. One of my players actually went to Dartmouth and Yale, and Brown were on him hard. But it was a good fit. He got a little homesick this summer. He was out there working camps this summer, but it was a good fit for him.
I'll tell you, if you want some insight on rebounding, listen to Coach Jones at Yale. Unbelievable. Okay. And when he came in, like, his goal, I've seen a couple of clinics with him, and we have what we call a Yale box out drill.
Okay.
That's stuff he does. And it's like, listen, when I came in here, I wanted to be the best rebounding team in the country. And then statistically, he was in D1 the best rebounding team. And then he brings up the things that we always talk about, right? It's like that mid-season grind where you've now taken your practices. You start the year at 3 hours, then you're down to an hour and a half, an hour and 45, but they're all concise. And the kids, it's better for the kids, right? I mean, that's the question. But he talks about how, as coaches, we typically stop working on that physical side because we're beat up, we're tired, sick. And he said he didn't. He found ways to get in rebounding every practice. And we preach it, but the way he implements it, it's pretty impressive.
So explain the drill.
One of them is that you line up back to back, and with a ball and without a ball. And it's literally a pushback drill, and you have to hold your push.
Yep. Do you do it in the semis? You do it in the circle?
No, it's straight across the middle of the court.
Okay, and you basically try to push the other guy to the other end line?
Yeah, sideline. And it's physical, and it's low.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. In fact, I think I put it up on the website. I filmed us doing it, and it's interesting because what we'll do is we'll mix up, because usually we'll start the bigs versus the bigs, and then we'll mix it up, right?
Right. So I'm trying to diagram it here. So they start in the middle right here.
Yeah. So you would have.
So they're going to each. I don't like this color, but I'm not changing it.
That's okay.
Hold on. Let me grab my pad. I can do this easier. So they start in the middle then.
Yeah. If you
they start right here.
Control of that or no?
Huh?
You can't give me control of that, can you?
I can't. I don't think I can.
Oh, okay. So if you were to draw, say, 5 X's horizontally.
Like one here.
Yep. Do one.
And then one right here.
Do like a 0 there to represent a different player.
Okay.
Or whatever. And then
Yep.
if you were to do that across the board, right?
So one here, one here.
Yep. And then
Okay.
across the board. And then
Okay.
what you would have is they would be back to back. Basically,
So they would literally be back to back here.
yeah. And
Okay.
on low, they would push and get low and hold their box and be physical. And it's, there's certain
See, I was thinking you were going this way. You're going 42 feet then.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going sideline to sideline. You're going so this guy's actually right here.
Yes, you're right
And-
on top of each
Yeah,
other.
he's right on top of him. And then hold on, let me yeah, so these two are here, and then they're back to back. Oh, that's crazy.
It is.
And can you
crazy.
do it? So my question is, can you do it with 5 guys and them not bang into each other?
Yeah, so what you do is you have a controlled environment, Sarah. You're just trying to push back in control. Because what will happen is, right, not only it becomes a little bit too physical because they'll start twisting their shoulders. That's when it's a coaching moment, right? A teachable
Okay.
moment. They're
Okay.
listen, you're not just fighting. You're
Right.
literally square. You're holding your spot, your shoulders, like all that stuff. You're getting lower. And what we'll typically do, middle of the drill, we may pull one of our smaller guards,
Right.
a 5'6" kid, 5'7" kid,
Right.
pushing around a 6'4", 6'5" kid, and the kids eat it up, right? Because
Right.
it's a pride thing.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. It does, it's for us. We stole that from him. I say,
I love that. I love that. And when I think of that, the only issue I would think you'd have would be, first of all, them cheating, because they cheat in every
Oh,
drill.
no question.
You let them. I mean, and the second thing is that you just really want to, you want to make sure there's enough space there. That's why I thought you were going this way, because then you could spread them out the 84 feet. How many kids do you have in your varsity?
We have 15 on varsity.
15. Okay.
This year we'll have our first freshman team.
Okay.
And then we'll have about 12 on JV.
JV. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a Dennis Rodman. I think 95% of it's up in your head, man. You just gotta go find a body.
So this is completely unrelated, but they were talking about how could Dennis Rodman cover KD and how he. Oh, it's crazy because it was on NBA radio and they're talking about just okay, what is the error? When is it? And then they're talking about, well, if you play in the 80s, the 3-point line was closer. And nobody could stop KD. It was very interesting. It's just about just how tough Rodman was and physical and a maniac, and which I love. But unfortunately, in today's game, he would put somebody to the line every minute.
Right. It wasn't like the Detroit. Yeah, you and I grew up in the Detroit Pistons, where half of them would foul out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be crazy.
But what I'll do is I have video of us actually running the Yale drill.
You do?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Kids beat up on them and show,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So, please don't critique it for technique because it's awful. It's a work in process.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you got any specific questions?
No, I had a couple actually, and I think part of it is, I know you're now in the mix of the shot clock, right? Is that your?
Well, the shot clock is season 1920 is going to be the shot clock. It is the state of Wisconsin is basically split right in half. Half the people hate the idea, half the people love it, and I don't know where I fall. I have more of an issue with our state association than I do with the shot clock.
Well, of course.
Yeah, because they basically just did it and didn't ask anybody, in my personal opinion.
You know what? If it's comforting, I don't necessarily think this is just a state thing. I think it's everywhere where it's just, okay, you're using it now. But where's the input, right? You can go to the Interscholastic, you can go to.
Well, and I'm not sure what, and I'm a math teacher. I'm just not sure what it's going to do. That's my entire issue with the shot clock is I have no problem. We went to halves too.
Yeah, we're at halves.
So I like halves. It makes me play more kids. I have no problem with halves. But I just not sure what shot clock's going to do for the game. I think it's going to make us all very similar is my concern.
Yes. I think part of it is for a team like ours, where this year we're not going to have the scorers that we may have had historically.
Yep.
So the challenge for us, right, is we focus on, again, not unlike a lot of teams that are challenged to score, we focus on defense.
Right.
And help defense is key. But it's still, if a team is finding a way to score and we have to keep shooting to maintain 30-second shot clock, it's still giving them an opportunity. We can work our tails off defensively, but when the ball is in their hand every 30 seconds, like we're asking our kids to make stops every 30 seconds, right? And
do you have a shot? You have a shot clock?
we do. It's 30 seconds.
Okay. So, and how long have you had it?
A few years.
Okay.
3-4 years.
Because I've thought of doing some lessons on this. Do you 2-2-1?
We do a little bit.
Do a lot of people do that to slow people up?
Well, what we do is we do 1-2-2, and we slow.
Okay.
We stagger to the middle with our front guys, and what we do is we call for 8 seconds. And you're right. A lot of teams do that, like a hybrid soft. A lot of soft presses goes on.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the podcast as much as I am. If you'd like to help us out over at, please go and subscribe and leave a 5-star review. If you want to leave a 2-star review, you can turn your phone off. Also, if you would like to make a commitment to your coaching, if you would like to become a better coach and learn how to deal with that irate parent, learn how to deal with that kid that won't go get the 50 ball, learn how to deal with the teams that's throwing that combo defense at you, go over and check out teachhoops.com. It's a way for you to get back, keep the lights on here at Coach Unplugged, and also expand your horizons as a basketball coach. So go over and check it out. Let us know what you think. All right, let's get back to the podcast.
And so what we shoot for is we have an 8-second rule. Our goal, obviously, we'd like to get a 10-second violation, but we're not because it's so soft.
Right.
If we do 8 seconds off the clock, immediately you can see them struggle, or teams struggle to get in their offensive sets because they immediately start looking up. Once they see 22, I don't know what that number is, or around 20, and then it hits the teens, it's not like the NBA where they immediately go to a pick and roll, right? That's kind of the go-to. It's
right.
Actually, college, like they a lot of teams, you see a lot more spread sets, clear out, and they try to attack because they can't get into their sets. So there is a level of pressing that we'll see that you may not have seen.
Do you think it's helped the game?
I don't. I personally, not really. I mean, I think it's almost as bad. And this is I'm going to show my age here, but it's almost as bad as the 3-point line. That's a whole other discussion.
The 3-point line hasn't helped the game, in my opinion. It's fine, whatever. But and that's probably because I've lost a couple state championships because of it. But anyway, so here's my concern. And we're 2 years away, and I've already started thinking about it. Is what's going to happen? What's going to happen when the shot clock gets to 10? People freak. I'm guessing people freak the first year.
We work. I mean, how about this? Now, what you have is a whole new element to practice, right? You're talking about high school programs that we don't have many managers. You don't have many assistants. So now you're controlling this element of whenever you're doing a shell drill, whenever you're doing all these drills, now there's that shot clock that you have to kind of tie into your practice.
Right.
That's one thing I can say that we've done a pretty good job at. I think it conditionally, when it gets to 10, they know there's this, we attack. That's our, we try to get the line at 10, but teams are getting better at it. Again, it's probably been maybe 8 or 9 years so that we've had it, or at least.
Do people see? So my thought is, why don't you go hard for 15, 20 and then go to a zone?
Yeah. I mean,
why don't you switch?
If we had time to work on it, I think
it would freak people. I think it would freak people out. This is just, it's just me thinking out loud because I haven't experienced it, but it's like, all right, see, we're going 35. So, which I don't think is going to affect a lot, to be honest with you. I think most people are going to get a shot up and, there's enough possessions. But anyway, so when that shot clock gets to 10, if you have an automatic, okay, shot clock gets to 10, we go to this or something. I don't know. Because the pick and roll thing is going to, or we're going to jump your pick and roll. Something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that the best part about that is, Coach, is that when you jump that, now you've changed it from 10 to maybe 8 or 7, and now it's frantic, right? So
right.
By jumping that, you've done the right thing. If it works, obviously, and then they're weaker guards, then you've immediately shaved another 2, maybe 3 seconds off the clock, and then it becomes, Steph Curry show, right? It's let me chuck it up.
Right.
But I think for us, as a program, and I think in general, we try to focus all year on closing out and altering shots, and and when it becomes frantic mode, we lose some of that ability for some reason. Because I think what kids do is typically they may say, all right, they only have 5 seconds, they're going to chuck up a bad shot, which they actually make it a good shot. And so we may falter on some of the closeouts. So the trickle down effect of the shot clock changes defense, changes practice, changes a lot of things. And 35 and 30s is a huge difference. Huge. I think you won't have a problem, but it's going to be the teams that like to pull the ball out and run Princeton and 4 out, and that we'll see, that was their competitive edge. Right now that impact their game, it becomes college. It's try to get up good shots, as many shots as you can. And then it kind of, creates whoever has the best scorers win, which is typically okay. Which is typically normal, right? But if you have the ability to kind of lock down a couple guys, but you're going to find that those scorers that you may be able to lock down are now maybe getting more shots up because they're running sets for them because they have to get them out in 30 seconds or 35 seconds.
Right. Yeah, it was similar to my team this year. I mean, we couldn't really score at all, but we could come down and run an offense and get a good shot at 45 seconds, 50 seconds. Yeah. But I don't know how many this is the issue I have with it too. It's going to make because eventually it's going to be every high school, in my opinion. Yeah, it's going to make every high school game like the college game. We're all going to be the same.
Yeah. And I would be, I would be shocked if I play a couple teams out of state. So we'll go play Connecticut, and we'll play in Connecticut, and they have no shot clock in quarters, which the quarters, it changes a little bit. It gives our kids a break. It's like an extra timeout. Right. But it's funny because we have no shot clock and we're playing 3 non-league games, and I'm screaming to the kids, no shot clock, because now they're conditioned, right? Since JV on, that they need to find a way to get a shot up, and if we can attack the basket without running a set anyway, then obviously that's what we want to do.
What most teams have 3 levels?
Not as much in Rhode Island, just because of numbers.
It's varsity and JV is usually what most people have.
Yeah.
Okay, and then do they do the shot clock at the JV level?
They do. Yeah. So
and do they do it in the summer?
No shot clock in the summer. And that's another thing. So, it depends on the summer league. Like the one we're in, we have no shot clock, which it is interesting because I find that competitively, it definitely gives us an advantage if we have trouble scoring, which we do. We can't score.
Right.
So coaching becomes completely different when, during a game when we're playing the same team in regular season at, 10 seconds, we're flipping out, running our set that we have for the shot clock, right? It's like, all right, you got to attack or spread. We run, Kentucky sets. We run all these sets, quick hitters, or it's a disaster. But in summer, we're a totally different team. Totally different. But so's everybody, right?
Well, and the Wisconsin, they're only going to put it in the varsity level. So and it's going to be it's going to be my son's senior year. Literally, that's the only time he'll play with a shot clock.
Probably. Yeah, it's interesting. How do you not? But I don't understand what the reasoning is behind that. How are you going to prepare your younger kids? So they're going to come in immediately, and you're going to have to not only, I don't know, for us.
I think there's an opening for me. I'm always looking for an opening because I don't think people are going to spend the time they need to get good at it. To be honest with you, to practice. I mean, that's where I'm going to pick your brain on this. Not because I'm not really worried about this year. But next year I'll even start practicing it, I think. So
yeah, we have it. And you'll see, again, when we're in shell drill, we're running a shot clock. We have to. And whether we do it ourselves as coaches or we can have one of the managers do it for us to do it, there's always that, when we're, okay, look to score. And then we might set the time at 10 seconds. Got to look to score. And those are things that you find that you've never worked on before, right? Or you've never had to. And now it's critical to every aspect of the game, especially.
So why don't you, so you're at 30. So at 15, why don't you go to like a 1-3-1 and just spread it out and
Yeah, we've done that. We run all sorts of
Defenses.
I mean, obviously, we'd like to run man, but it's whatever defense works for us. The
Right.
problem we have is we're not deep. So as soon as
Okay.
we foul trouble, we do what we call Bonnies. So what we may do is not unlike what you were saying at 10 seconds. We'll show 1-3-1, and then once the ball gets to a certain point, we'll drop to a 2-3. And
Right.
so what happens is it puts a little bit of pressure on when a team runs to it. They'll typically run a 2-1-2 against a 1-3-1,
Right.
and then we'll move guys around a little bit and try to alter shots.
Do they take more threes?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Are there more threes because of the shot clock, you think?
I think it's interesting because we don't look to shoot threes at the 10-second mark, but kids do. You know what I mean? They immediately, what we try to teach them is obviously attack.
Right.
And attack the seams and maybe dribble drive. But it's interesting how kids will gravitate towards those weak corner threes when that 10-second shot comes up and they're perched, right? So
Right.
you do that one more drill, the one more, trying to get the extra shots. But it's amazing how that goes away when there's 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, that is an interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. What I'd like to do too, and what I'd like to do is have everybody tape a practice, and then we put it up on. I'd love to see one of your practices.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So because last year I didn't really have this launched. So what I'm going to try to do is get everybody. Like I'll put up a couple. I don't care.
Yeah.
But then put it just behind the wall, and then people could watch practice. Like what does a practice look like in Wisconsin? What does a practice look like in Rhode Island with a shot clock? I think it would be really interesting to see.
Oh yeah, and also too the rules, right? What are the rules around the shot clock? So if a ball is kicked, the shot clock changes to 15 seconds. Like there's all these other rules that you have to take into consideration. Inbounds plays now, where you could run, sets to get guys open. Obviously, you're limited by the time that the ball comes in, but now you're looking at what we all want: quick hitter on inbounds, right?
Right.
Okay, well, now you have 4 seconds. So that there's a huge impact. Say, I'm just saying, hypothetically, what if the ball goes out and the shot clock's down to 4 seconds?
So how is the shot clock run? Is it run well?
That's a good question. Well, it's run by the home team. So
what I'm saying is do you remember when it first came out? I'm guessing it's going to be horrible.
Oh, it's a disaster because you're going to find yourself going shot clock. There's still, and it's been in place for years, there's still stoppage in our games to address the shot clock being wrong still. And it's a lot right now. You're asking, you don't have an official running this unless you have them in Wisconsin. For us, we have 2 officials in the game, except during playoffs. Again, a whole other discussion. And a home person doing the book, which is the official book, and the home person doing the scoreboard and the shot clock. So
they do both of them.
Yeah. Well, it could be, a couple people, but the issue is, you could have a kid doing the 30-second clock, right?
Right.
So constantly one of your assistants, it's hard, right, when you're trying to manage a game, manage minutes, understand what's going on, and then worry about the shot clock. So we have usually our assistants, we do a really good job of, between all of us, trying to figure out what's going on with the shot clock just to make sure it's in the right spot. But again, it's been implemented for years, and there's still an impact, right? There's still, stoppage in play because there's an issue with the shot clock, whether it's off, whether a kickball knocks it to 15 seconds, whether it's, did it hit the rim? Does that reset it? Or was it just the backboard? Was it tipped? So all those things, which you don't even think about, all of a sudden in a game situation, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This just came about. We have to be able to handle this.
And this has been since you implemented it 9 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, we've had stoppage this year. And, it's been in place. The college has stoppage, right?
Right. That's the issue. It's like, that's why I'm not sure what it's solving. Where are all these delay games that we need to implement it for? That's what makes no sense to me.
Yeah, we'll try to use them if they're in our favor. We try to use them as a soft timeout where we can pull some people over and try to breather, but keep them on the floor, but let the refs settle it while we figure stuff out.
See, we're spoiled. Most of our games we have 3 officials.
I don't know how I feel about that. The only reason why I say that is because it's been 2 officials for so long, and each has their responsibilities. And then in the playoffs, there's this other guy that, like, if you told me the other official was handling the book and the shot clock, be all for it. Right. I mean, that's great.
And the issue in Wisconsin, I've always been, I want more eyes because our game is so physical because we're dealing with schools of 2,000 and very athletic kids and blah, blah, blah. We need that. We need it because it's just such a physical game. But there's always an official in front of me to talk to.
That's great.
You know what I mean? It's like,
No,
I don't have to scream. I don't have to scream across the court to talk to them. There's someone in there to talk to.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The game is so much faster now compared to when we played. It's
right.
We're asking so much more of the officials, especially just two. Like we're asking what we're asking, and the kids, even the workouts, like all those things we talked about earlier, like the plyometrics, the dynamics, all this dynamic stuff. Like the kids come in such different shape, and now we're asking, the refs that have been doing it for 20 years to try to keep up with a new brand, essentially, of athletes that are just, they're built differently. Where before, for us, it was, go lift.
Right.
lift, try not to rip your knees apart. Try to
go ask the football coach what to do. Yes, that was basically it. Yeah,
that's right. Go work out with the football team.
Yeah, that was it. All right. Anything else? Anything you want me to talk about in Teach Hoops? So I just put up a weight training thing that you should look at that we do. That's really good. The dumbbell stuff and stuff, because I had somebody from the UW. So I'm working on practice planning right now. I think that's because I think people always have questions on that, especially for the younger coaches. I'm doing something on parents.
Good.
Yeah, because I think,
that's a balance.
That's a balance. It definitely is a balance.
I think for me personally, and I may speak for some of your other coaches. I think, your idea of posting some practice videos is awesome. I would love to see how other coaches are doing it, because we're also we kind of keep things close to the chest, right? When it's
right.
That's whether when we're we talk about some things and not other. But I know, like for us, we'll open up a lot of our practices in the beginning of the year just so the parents can see the pace and what we do, the effort. But I would love to get another set of eyes. And we have coaches that we work with.
Right.
One of the coaches from in Connecticut, we're actually playing him in a non-league game. It's open for him to come to our practices because I love hearing his opinions. Like, well, we do this a little bit differently, or I'm open to go see his practice. Like,
and this goes to my scouting thing. I've done this for 15 years. I tell coaches whenever they ask, I said, one of the biggest things you can do is scout your opponents and then scout yourself. So have someone in that has nothing to do with your program and just come and have them watch a practice, have them watch a game, have them watch the interaction before the game, everything, and then just take them up for breakfast and talk to them. Because the problem is we get in our little world and it's like, what I mean? It's like Johnny doesn't move his feet or something. And it's just, we just get in this rut. Well, yeah, Johnny might not move his feet, but he gets to the position. The other coach sees things that we don't see because we just get in that routine.
Listen, I would welcome that. I think a lot of coaches would, but the reality is that and I'm not disparaging the sport. It's any sport, but you're talking about a room full of coaches that ultimately like the control of their team.
I know.
So now you're pushing this whole model of, okay, is my ego going to be hurt because I'm taking this criticism?
Right.
The other approach, which is I would welcome the criticism, help me.
Right.
And maybe it's different, but that's right. That's that whole, again, that's that balance too. But there's certain set of coaches, right? We all have that group that we gel with.
Right, and that you trust. It's not the guy you're playing on Friday nights coming into your gym.
Right.
It's like you can always find, because and then I'll reciprocate. I'll go watch them play and I'll tell them what they're doing well. And I mean,
I love it.
That's the thing is this, and it doesn't have to be. It just has to be a couple guys. It's like, hey, I'll send you my practice tape. You send me yours. Let's talk about it. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
It's just let me watch show me half of a game that you need some work on.
But this, just to circle back, because I tend to just blabber, but I think for what I would like to see is just a bit of the structure that you may have in place, or the other coaches here, for their practice plans. And I would send mine out there. I have no problem doing the same thing.
Okay.
I would just welcome education on this. Again, I'm an old man and I'm constantly learning. It's this constant learn. The stuff that we get out from other coaches is unbelievable.
Right. And yes. And it's like, I tell people when you go to clinics, when you go to hear, all these people talk, it's a nugget here. It's a golden nugget. That's all you're going to find, to be honest with you. The game ain't that complicated.
Right.
It's just, you want to find that nugget that's good. So that's a good idea. All right. So I got something good out of this. I'm going to shoot that off to see everybody. I mean, I know we're a ways away. When do you start? We start November 11th.
Oh, that's early. We're after Thanksgiving, usually the day after Thanksgiving.
Really? That's crazy.
Well, football.
Okay.
Because I don't know, for us, it's all based on football. So, we're assuming that football is done right then, and then it's right into
it.
So for me, I'm not a football school.
Right.
Is small. So with a different beast, like compared to the other school, which I was at, was much bigger. So there's that, that dynamic
change
is not there, which is nice.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. And if you think anything else, well, I told everybody too, a couple people emailed me. I don't know, Jake was going to show up, but anyway, I'm going to try to do these every other week or every third week now that the season's kind of starting.
Cool.
We kind of slow down during the summer just because everyone's doing their stuff in the summer. But as we rev up here in the fall, we'll definitely do it more.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, thanks.
And I'll figure out why my video's not working by then. So
call Geek Squad. Okay, they got you.
I know, I got it. All right, thanks, Coach. See ya.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that podcast as much as I did. If you did, go over and leave a 5-star review. If you didn't like it, don't do anything. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Become a better coach. Take yourself outside of that comfort zone. Join our community. Let myself and our entire community help you through this great journey. Doesn't matter if it's parents, doesn't matter if it's the kid not playing hard, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to break the 1-3-1 zone. We will help you. So go over and check it out. Have a great day.